In this tutorial, we are going to build this flower head, the large one on the right hand side of the Two Birds in the Garden project. I've got all my pieces cut out. I have cut my fringe. These slices or these cuts are about 1/4 inch. I just estimated. Some of them are a little bit wider. I made a knot, sewed a knot in the end where I started to run a gather stitch along the straight side of it. Okay, I made a knot with my thread into the wool, ran a gather stitch. Now, if you don't know how to do a gather stitch, go on to youtube.com and type in how to do a gather stitch. And there'll be a plethora of videos on there to help you. So I ran a gather stitch, and now I have my thread and needle at the opposite end of where I knotted it. I'm going to pull it and gather it down, and as you do that, it curls, so that's why I'm trying to kind of keep it flat on the table so that it doesn't go bananas on me. Okay, so I pull it until it's pretty well gathered into a circle, and I put the start, I pinch those two together, each of the ends together, and I kind of work with the gathers to kind of even them out. Now I lay this piece, the hole should be about the size of a nickel. The hole there that has formed. But I'm keeping those pinched together, and I lay them out on my red piece. I'm hoping you can see that. And I kind of play with it, flatten it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be, completely flat. The idea is to have it kind of, going wonky. Here's my center piece. I lay that over the center to make sure that it covers that hole. We don't want that hole to show. And it does. So that gather is what I want. So I carefully pick my piece back up where the two ends meet, and I take a couple stitches right there where those two ends meet. And I've got mine all knotted wrong, but we're just going to keep going. So you go ahead and you take a couple stitches and knot that. We'll hide that because I made a mistake. You center it on your red piece. That looks so pretty. I love the colors in this. You center your brown piece over the top of it. We'll take this off. Stitch all the way around, and you stitch that brown piece down. And as you stitch it down, you're going to catch all of the green. If you want to stitch the green piece down first, go ahead, have at it. That might be a good idea. Just stitch it down, tack it down. Put the brown piece on top of that, tack it down. Put the half moon on there, over to the one side, and stitch it around it. Now I use a slip stitch. Again, refer to YouTube if you don't know what that is. Everybody has their favorite hand stitches. Mine is a slip stitch. So I stitch all these down using a slip stitch. Once I've built my flower head and I'm done building it, I set it aside until it's time to stitch it on my background. Remember, build anything you can, stitch anything you can separate before you put it on your background. It's just easier to handle. That's it for the flower head. The next video we'll put out there will be on your leaves, doing your leaves. And we got a couple of tips and hints on that.